Hey everybody, it's been a while since we've done an update video. It's been crazy busy trying to get stuff done on this thing because like Burning Man is literally like next month now. We're like way behind. You know, at least not where we should be, or I'd want to be. Anyways, not panicking yet, but we're getting close to panicking. But no, we'll be all right. Anyways, 4th of July weekend here, everybody. Today's little misadventures are I did some, not really more wiring, but some rewiring of that mess there. I got a couple of things on relays, and I was going to use like off-road lights, halogen lights for backup lights and headlights on this thing originally. I got a whole bunch of LED stuff because that's just smart. So anyways, I needed to move some stuff around as far as where my switching relays were. Basically needed to get some of the heavier current draw stuff on the relays, and then some of the stuff I had LED lights on that were going through the relays, obviously that wasn't necessary. So anyways, I did some rewiring, had the batteries kind of drawn down a little bit, doing some electrical testing the other night, and figured, hey, I'll fire this thing up and check the old battery and see how that whole situation's going. And I just cut this guy in here, which needed to be done, but I kind of opened up another problem. Now I can't lock this thing anymore because my batteries are right there, and I'm gonna have junk down here I want to have locked up. But anyways, we'll deal with that. We're in a good neighborhood here, so I'm not too worried about it. But anyways, and also too, when I was looking at my master disconnects, because I never ever labeled them, figuring, hey, I built this thing, I should probably remember how those switches are all laid out. No, I've been running this thing wrong a lot lately, so I've been running it. I haven't been really charging both batteries, it's just one. Anyways, so I fired WhYODie up here, and gonna let the batteries charge a little bit, and he died. Won't stay running. So I'm like, well, this is not good. But anyways, like I had like half a tank of fuel in here because I gassed them up when gas went through the roof, or right before it did, thankfully. I saw it coming, and put some stable in the fuel tank because this has still got the stock factory tank in it, so it holds like, I don't know, 18-20 gallons or whatever in it. So I figured I'll at least put half a tank in it. Anyways, so yeah, it won't stay running. It's taking gas, the batteries are all charging, so I don't think I messed anything up on the electrical system. So I pulled the air filter off, just checked down the throttle body on this thing, it's fuel injected, and clean as a whistle down there, so there's no rat's nest or whatever. Not a big rodent issue around here, but I'm like, hey, something's not right here. The exhaust is not plugged up. There's neighborhood kids around here, but hey, they pretty much like me, so I don't think no one has been messing with this thing. It's got clean gas in it. Anyways, so I figured it had to be a fuel pump. So, smart me knew this fuel pump was going to be an issue at some point. So, I left. Let's close this before I break that off. Anyways, unfortunately, I just built benches over here, or steps actually, and I kind of had to cover my access point here. But I knew this was going to be an issue, having to get into this fuel tank to mess with this fuel pump at some point. So when I got the truck, this hose, it was in a bad wreck, and this hose had popped off the fuel pump. It went out run when I first got this truck. But anyways, had it all back together. Everything looked fine. I was planning to get a spare fuel pump anyways. And that being said, I think I just found our problem. Yeah, thanks a lot, GM, for putting the ground wire on top of the frame rail. And we got our nice weather pack connector here to disconnect. But we're going to just leave one wire here just to make your life miserable. So yeah, engineers, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Apparently you're not thinking. I think that's what I'm thinking you're not thinking. Anyways, this guy here looks like it blew out. This hose is super soft. If anybody who lives in California like me knows, California gas is horrible on rubber, especially older vehicles that are not all designed with the cruddy gas that we have nowadays in mind when they're building this stuff. So I'm going to swap this hose out. It's obviously blowing out, and that's the hose that popped off before. It runs, but it just acts like it wants to stall, and it doesn't want to keep running. If you throttle up a bit, it'll kind of accelerate a little bit, but it just wants to die out again. But anyways, the fuel tank still looks pretty clean in there. So I'm going to go put a new piece of hose on here. We're definitely still going to need a spare pump for this thing, because like I said, I'm not sure. This thing's been damaged once. Went to actually go buy a pump. They're like, is it 2 or 3 wire? I'm like, brown? I don't know. She's a 2 wire. what would the third wire on just the fuel pump only go to? It doesn't run through the sending unit, so like they have an extra, huh? I don't know. Electric motor needs two things, power and ground, to run, so you got me. Anyways, I'm not a Chevy guy, so I couldn't tell you what they were thinking back in the day here on this stuff. But hopefully this is an easy fix. I'm gonna go swap this out, try to slam this. Hopefully I got that hose, a piece of that hose. It's 5/16 or 3/8. I don't know. Anyways, we'll slam that on here, and Lord willing, that will fix our problems, because I don't want to spend 30 to $50 on a fuel pump right now if I don't have to. But actually I'm probably gonna anyways, because I want to have a spare when we go up to Burning Man. So a quick tour of what we've been doing. As you can see, not much changed here except for finally got that in. I'm basically working off the back of the ship right now, and it's kind of assembled and built up a lot more than you've seen it last, or yeah, I don't know, it was like months ago since I did a video. So we got a bench here to sit on. I got a whole bunch of really crummy wood. It's gonna probably maybe last a week at Burning Man. I'm gonna try to paint it again so it's not moopy, but try to be a nice guy up there. But it's pretty gnarly stuff as far as being rotted out and stuff. But hey, lumber is crazy expensive, and we're trying to keep the cost down on this thing, so that's what it is. So we got steps on each side built, a bench built. I'm gonna probably just double up some beach towels or something to put basically have a pad on that. Our rickety tower, actually the tower's pretty solid. We were having some issues on trying to figure out how we're gonna mount these wings. I built one and it was way too heavy. It was probably way too long. I think the wings ended up being about 14 feet long each. So I'm gonna probably have to cut them down like 2-3 feet. But we're still trying to figure out. They're probably gonna mount right through here, have our engines, which are basically steel 55-gallon drums, right sitting down below them, so the wings will be able to fold up without hitting the motors or the ion engines. I have no idea what's going to go on the top here, probably nothing, because the wings need to fold up almost vertically. But anyways, we'll have a piece of Burning Man approved, just putting trellis material over there. They have some cool kind of artsy stuff that's not just a crosshatch pattern stuff, so we'll maybe get a piece of that. But for some stupid reason, it's like 3x5 sheets, not 4x8, so that's actually 4x5.5, I think. So I don't know, maybe it'll work. So anyways, this is the blacked out section, which is all dirty now and sun bleached already. It rained the other night actually, so some of that just might be dust, but hey, it's gonna get trashed up at Burning Man anyways. So I'm not too worried about it. I have this section built up. I just took it apart so I can work on this thing easier. So these sections here are just sitting down here. I'm gonna have a little storage compartment down there. We got steps. So anyways, like I said, the black section will be exposed, so when we're driving this thing, we have a better shot at the back of who we're running over. I got some really funky steps here, but actually they're pretty sturdy. I just built this section here to kind of close the end off. Has like a little railing here, so drunk people don't fall off the back and fall down the steps. You don't want to see people get hurt in this thing. So yeah, this section here is all paneled, and then that's paneled up there. My niece is going to paint that for us. We got our lights up there, and actually they are pretty darn stinking bright, so we have some good backup lights. Got our navigation light here in the back. We're really kind of semi-permanently temporary wiring here, because this whole thing has to come apart. So basically I'm still working on the wiring here. I was just doing a test run with it. I'm just using trailer. Actually, I used the taillight harness out of the truck, because I'd have to run more wire back here. And on each side, the wings are going to plug into what used to be the taillight connectors. Well, actually, I just put trailer light connectors on them, but it's funny how GM actually uses like legit like trailer wiring, which kind of makes it easy. The color coding, it's like, who doesn't know the color coding on trailer wiring? But they have like one wire different. But anyways, that's pretty straightforward. Generator mounts down here. This is my stupid anti-theft handle, goes through here. Then I got a big padlock that goes through there, and then we can wrap about 6 chains around it too, to keep the stupid people from stealing our stuff, hopefully. But then turn down here, which I don't know if I showed that before or not, a little piece of aluminum here to kind of prolong the fire from starting there. But that should blow regular engine exhaust down there, no problem. I cut out a section here for the generator. Its exhaust isn't too bad. It's a pretty small little motor on that thing. But anyways, that's that. So that's kind of where we're at. Ben, just like I said, working on the back. Here's the section which is upside down and backwards, I think. So I think technically, here's our armrest, so it kind of goes like that. But I gotta slap some paint on that thing. Here are our feathers. Two of these are a little bit thinner. They'll be on the very ends, and they are cut different. So there's left and rights on these things. Which that's a left down there. These are the lefts, but they're all basically the same on one side. And then when we paint them, I think I'm going to do them all white with an outline of gray. That's what I submitted on the plans, and they're like, okay, bring it. So we're gonna have to stick with that paint scheme for now. We can change it in years gone by, but and then as a fan out, they're going to be have kind of like a, which actually like a real. I was kind of going with the red tail hawk, but what the heck is that? Oh, my dart blowing in the wind. Sorry. Anyways, you'll have like a kind of an arc pattern of color going through there in a couple sections. So these are the mounts for one of the ladders, which I have one over here built. It's jammed up against the car. So I just took a extension ladder, took it apart. So that's an 8-foot ladder. I think it's going to become a 5.5-foot ladder. I think my latest idea for hinge mounts is going to be just sticking some bar stock through, because that's all the way, it's hollow all the way through. Because this ended up being about 38 pounds at the end with the wings mounted on it. I was hoping to be able to lift these things up by myself, but it's going to be a 2-person operation, but it's not going to be often that we're moving these wings, hopefully. But anyhow, that's kind of where we're at now. It's going to be a big fun ship. Hopefully I can get it running here in the next couple of minutes. I got to go scrounge up some hose and slam that in her, but just wanted to give a quick update. Tomorrow we have off too, which, well, my priority now is to get this darn thing running again. Let's get that out of the way. I do have a window I bought. I think I mentioned that in the last video. And then yesterday I just went down to the coolest RV. Shout out to Dr. George RV down in Sacramento, California. If you have anything RV, I mean like old school stuff, he has tons of it. There's just piles and piles of anything RV related down there. You know, it's kind of fun looking through. Some of it's in a warehouse, kept out of the weather, and some of it's outdoors. But I think it was installed once. I don't know what happened to this thing, but it still had the tag on it. So I got a brand new man door for the side, like a 28-inch door. Spent way too much money on it, just like the window I bought. But hey, the screen was perfect. I had 2 keys for it. So I'm like, hey, keep this from. I didn't want to put an old gnarly looking beat up door on this thing with a torn screen, and that was just going to look stupid. So I put up with that in my old camping trailer. So I don't splurge often. So there you go. But anyways, we got a man door. Next weekend I got a buddy coming over. He's going to help me install those hopefully. Tomorrow, bringing the trailer over. It's got new tires on it now, new decking on it, and it's soon going to have new brakes on it. I checked the brakes on it the other day, and they're minimal. So, and I've been having issues with the brakes the last time I towed with this. It had the Explorer on it. It just was not stopping good. Now I'm going to have this thing loaded down pretty good. So we're going to put new brakes on it, new tires on it, pack the wheel bearings again, and hopefully have no issues coming down Sierra Nevadas. But that's where we're at. Let me go dig up some hose and stop the video here and restart it again. And we'll try to start this thing, and Lord willing, it'll behave itself, because no one likes breaking down before Burning Man, and especially at Burning Man. Okay, hey, don't laugh, I'm a complete mess. I've been cutting, I got sawdust on my hair and everything. So our fuel line is repaired. I was going to say I put a new piece of fuel line on there, but I didn't. I put an old piece of fuel line on there because I like draw them on the playa. Alrighty, so this should fire right up and idle just fine now, and everything should be perfect in the world as we know it. So let's give this a try and see what happens. Okay, actually, it might take a second or two to prime that fuel line back up, because I did drain a little gas out of it. No massive leaks down there. I'm not 100% sure if these engines self-prime. Normally in newer cars, when you turn the ignition on, you get 2 seconds of the fuel pump running. This has always had a long crank, and I'm not 100% sure if it does. This is one of the early fuel-injected vehicles Chevy had back in the day, so I'm not really sure. Like Toyotas are kind of the same way. Anyways, let's try this some more. Oh. Well, look at there, everything we're unlocked. Thank the good Lord for that, because I did not have to do a bunch of engine diagnostics on this thing. So, we are charging, and we are idling. So before we run for like 2 seconds, then wimp out and install. And I could keep it going with a little bit of throttle, but I probably should shut this thing off and make sure I didn't get that fuel line 100% tight. But cool. So that's problem solved. Another thing I was realizing yesterday on this thing too is I got to find a spot for actually heat ignition switch for this thing. So yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Just a quick update video on this thing. I got a lot to do, but I'll try to do another video soonish. Don't hold your breath, but we'll see how that goes.